Season 2, Episode 10. Build real wealth, not the illusion of wealth. Aum Namapegavaith Vasudevya. Imagine two friends receiving their very first $1 million bonus. One immediately buys a luxury car, a larger house, designer watches, expensive vacations. He wants the world to believe, I've made it. The other quietly upgrades nothing. He invests in businesses, builds an emergency fund, purchases appreciating assets, learns new skills, and continues living almost exactly the same life. 10 years later, the first still looks rich. The second actually is. The strange part. From the outside, most people admire the wrong person. Stay with me until the very end because today you'll discover why many wealthy-looking people secretly live under financial pressure. Why the world's greatest investors rarely try to impress anyone, and why true wealth is almost invisible. Imagine an iceberg. The tiny portion above the ocean captures everyone's attention. But nearly 90% of the iceberg remains hidden beneath the surface. Real wealth works exactly the same way. Luxury cars, designer clothes, lavish weddings, expensive gadgets. These are the visible parts. But what remains hidden? Cash reserves, investments, businesses, skills, ownership, financial discipline, freedom. The people who truly understand money spend more time building the invisible part than decorating the visible one. The Bhagavad Gita reminds us that attachment to external possessions often clouds judgment. When our identity becomes dependent on what others think of us, we slowly surrender our freedom. Wealth should expand our choices, not imprison us in the constant need for approval. Warren Buffett still lives in the home he purchased decades ago. Why? Because financial intelligence is not measured by how much you spend, but by how wisely you allocate resources. He understands a simple truth. Every unnecessary dollar spent today stops working for you tomorrow. Imagine a peacock. Its feathers are magnificent. They attract attention, but they don't help it fly. Now imagine an eagle. It doesn't seek admiration. It seeks altitude. Successful people think like eagles. They pursue capability, not applause. If today's message reminds you that appearances can be deceiving, write one word in the comments. Freedom. Because real wealth is not about being admired. It's about becoming financially independent. History offers another lesson. During every economic boom, thousands of people upgrade their lifestyle faster than they improve their finances. Bigger houses, luxury vehicles, premium memberships, latest phones. Everything looks successful until the economy slows. Then suddenly, the expensive lifestyle becomes an expensive burden. Why? Because they purchase symbols of wealth instead of building wealth itself. Charlie Munger once observed, the first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. Every luxury purchase has an opportunity cost. The question isn't, can I afford this? The better question is, what future wealth am I giving up to buy this today? Modern psychology calls this ** social comparison. Human beings naturally compare themselves with others. Social media has intensified this habit. People compare someone else's highlight reel with their own daily reality. That comparison often leads to unnecessary spending. Not because they need something, but because they don't want to feel left behind. Inside today's boardrooms, the smartest CFOs ask one question before every major expense. Will this investment produce future value? Notice the word. Investment, not expense. Businesses become successful because they distinguish between consumption and productive allocation of capital. Shouldn't we do the same with our personal finances? But here's where everything changes. Imagine two brothers. Both earn exactly the same annual income. The first spends every salary increase before receiving it. As his income rises, so do his expenses. The second increases his investments before increasing his lifestyle. Each salary raise first strengthens his financial foundation. Only afterward does he improve his standard of living. 15 years later, one is trapped by EMIs. The other is choosing whether he even wants to continue working. Income didn't create the difference. Habits did. Jim Rohn wisely said, "If you live like no one else today, later you can live like no one else." Delayed gratification is not punishment. It is strategy. Imagine planting a fruit orchard. Would you cut down the trees to sell the wood during the first year? Of course not. You patiently allow the trees to mature because you understand they will produce fruit for decades. Investments deserve the same patience. Don't consume tomorrow's orchard to enjoy today's picnic. Robert Kiyosaki often distinguishes between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out. Many people buy liabilities, then proudly call them assets. The language doesn't matter. Cash flow does. Imagine a king building a magnificent palace. Every visitor admired its beauty. But hidden beneath the palace, the treasury was empty. One difficult season later, the kingdom collapsed. Now imagine another king. His palace was modest, but his treasury was full. His farms were productive. His people were educated. His trade routes were expanding. When difficult times arrived, his kingdom became even stronger. Which king was truly wealthy? Chanakya repeatedly advised rulers to strengthen the foundation before displaying prosperity. Wise leadership always values stability over appearance. If today's lesson challenges the way you think about money, take a moment to like this video and tell us in the comments. What is one unnecessary expense you could reduce and one meaningful investment you could increase? Your decision today could change your future. Now let's define wealth correctly. Wealth is waking up without financial fear. Wealth is choosing meaningful work. Wealth is having time for family. Wealth is being able to help your parents without anxiety. Wealth is educating your children without debt. Wealth is retiring with dignity. Wealth is supporting worthy causes. Wealth is sleeping peacefully because your future has been planned. Luxury may impress strangers. Freedom transforms lives. Morgan Housel writes, "Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money." That sentence deserves to be remembered for a lifetime. Because wealth is built quietly, not loudly. Before your next purchase, ask yourself one simple question. Am I buying this to improve my life or to improve someone else's opinion of me? That one question, repeated consistently, can save you years of financial regret. Here's today's *** million-dollar principle ***. Rich is temporary appearance. Wealth is permanent freedom. Never confuse the two. Remember, status fades. Character remains. Luxury depreciates. Knowledge appreciates. Income fluctuates. Financial discipline compounds. Spend intentionally. Invest consistently. Live below your means. Build above your expectations. Allow your bank balance, not your social media profile, to tell the real story of your success. If this episode changed the way you define wealth, subscribe and share it with someone beginning their financial journey. Together, let's replace comparison with confidence, consumption with investment, and temporary status with lasting financial freedom. Better individuals create stronger families. Stronger families build stronger organizations. Stronger organizations strengthen society, and together we create a better world for generations to come. Remember, don't work to look rich. Work until money gives you choices. Work until your investments work harder than you do. Work until your peace of mind becomes your greatest luxury. Because true wealth isn't what people see. It's the freedom they don't. Aum Namah Bhagavath Vasudevaya.